When I was learning to give hypnotherapy to my teachers, I'm just helping you become aware of what you already are. Everyone on this planet is a hypnotist.
Whether it's presence or tonality or just this ability to be with someone in a way that allows their nervous system to calm down and access deeper states of consciousness of like, well, this is really what's going on.
We don't really need to run from anyone or anything. We don't need to blame anyone. If you increase the capacity and resilience, and that's what hypnotherapy is too, it's helping you get that control back.
The opportunity I see now is like, what if I just worked on myself and stopped blaming my partner for my lack of confidence, admit where I'm at. Most people don't focus on what is as much as they focus on where they're going.
Feel that feeling in your body, activate even more. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I could feel these parts come in and we're like, well, we should try and sabotage this. We should see if it isn't going to work. But my body was so calm. It was like they had nothing to hold on to.
Aloha, and welcome to another episode of the Embracing Human podcast.
Before we begin the next episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to ask for your support in helping us grow our podcast.
Take a moment to like, subscribe, or follow on whatever platform you're watching this on.
Your engagement helps us to grow our platform as well as allows us to invite even more interesting interviews in the future. I hope you enjoy the following episode and wish that you gain insight, clarity, or knowledge about what it means for you to embrace being human. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Embracing Human podcast. I am here with a very special guest today, Mira Nystrom, as well as this unique opportunity we've discussed as an opportunity to demonstrate as an example practice that she employs in her coaching practice, hypnotherapy. We'll get to that later in the episode, but I just want to give that as a little plug and a sneak peek to what's to come later, and I'll be using myself as the guinea pig. So Amira and I met through, actually, I was going to say we met in person through Vitali. However, we actually met on social media before that through Megan and a post she made doing an ice bath on Baldwin Beach. And it's just funny how these things come together. And when I met you at Vitali's, I don't think you had even put the two together.
No, it's just like he's doing cool things, but no, I didn't.
and Maui's such a good catalyst for that, of just meeting people up to cool things and seeing what you were up to. And I've always been curious. I know a couple different friends who are hypnotherapists and coaches, and to get to explore that in person, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And it was actually an opportunity for me because I've been exploring this podcast and like what really lights me up and like what would really, I think when I started, I was like, okay, what does everybody want to hear about? And then I was like, what do I want to hear about? Like, what do I want? Because my guess is that a lot of my listeners and friends are in the same boat, thinking about manifesting new things in their lives or getting unstuck or breaking through old relationship patterns, which is a lot of the work you do. And so I'm excited to see where this goes and kind of explore, but thank you for your willingness to be on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So just to dive right in, I'm curious, you before we hit record, you were talking about how you've been in the coaching space for, 6+ years and how hypnotherapy is kind of a new thing. And I'm curious, what called you to hypnotherapy?
This crazy thing, the healing world, there's so many different practices. Like you can find, hundreds of different ways to heal yourself. You can do talk therapy, you can do body work, somatic work, you can do all kinds of different practices. And I did them all. I went to so many courses. I did so many different trainings. And I've done talk therapy for years, which was powerful for validating my feelings and for helping me connect to myself in a way. I mean, honestly, just to have someone there that says that makes sense when you're feeling feelings, it's like, oh, okay.
Really?
So it's like, are you sure? Okay, well then I can breathe. So I've been in that space where I've desperately needed the validation from a therapist to help me get through my experience. And not, it could be a friend too, but what I found with hypnotherapy is we don't cycle through the loops. We don't even necessarily, we don't spend time with what is as much as we spend time with where we're going. And so I found that, I was so anxiously attached before, and I worked so much on creating security in myself, like being okay in myself, and then doing a few, like I did one session once that was on feeling loved regardless of what my partner's doing. And it changed so much. Like it was like a light switch compared to what I was doing before, which was stressing over every little detail, constantly looking for like how things maybe aren't what they are, and like looking, like checking for problems. And so to create a security inside myself with one session or two or three, and I've chipped at it in different ways, but to just go poof, where did it go, is kind of mind-blowing, and there's other things that I've worked on that haven't gone just poof, but it's something that I notice at least some change from every session I've received. And so when I started receiving hypnotherapy, and I thought, if I can just get a session done and then sleep peacefully, like, what do you mean? Like, that's crazy, compared to what people do nowadays, which is invest so much money in fancy beds and this and that, and just trying to do anything to get themselves to relax. But apparently I can just connect a neural pathway and then all of a sudden it works. It blew my mind. And then as soon as I'm like a sharing type of person, so if something really works for me, I want to help other people with it. And so I started doing it for friends for free. And then I just got mind blown, like to see people with insomnia just sleep. Like one of my friends, she wasn't planning on becoming a client, but I just ran into her and she's like, I haven't slept. And I said, well, when was the last time you slept well? And she said, I don't even remember. Like it's been years. And so I said, let's just do a free session. It's like, it's an hour of my time. It's not exactly like, it doesn't cost me anything. Let's do it. And then after that, she slept so peacefully. And after a week, she's like, I can't believe this. Like, I'm sleeping all through the night. And I was like, show me your sleep tracker. Like, I don't know if I believe it. Like, how is that? It's just kind of shocking results. And so, yeah, I fell in love with seeing big results. And of course, just like anything else, it's all about how open you are too. It's one of those things that works usually even if someone is skeptical. Like it still works a little. Even if someone is leading it a little like not perfectly, it still tends to work. Like it just seems to work more often than not, regardless of who's leading it and how you're receiving it. And so it's something that, especially when I was learning to give hypnotherapy too, my teacher said the first day, he's like, you're already a hypnotist. You're already taking people on journeys when you talk to them, when you tell them a positive story and you take them along, or when you tell them a sad story about how everything's hard, you're taking them there. And so it's just so interesting. He's like, I'm just helping you become aware of what you already are. Everyone on this planet is a hypnotist, And yeah, so I guess lots and lots of words and excitement just to see the results, like just to see people change things, to see relationships stay together because they healed a thing or two, or to see someone stretch and reach for a cooler job or a cooler opportunity for them and help them recode themselves. I don't know. It's like addicting.
100%. Yeah, you're a Scorpio too, right?
Yeah.
Same. There's something about the transformational aspect.
It's just like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like magic,
Yeah.
And I really appreciate what you shared at the beginning there of like trying it all. Like I've been in IFS therapy for a couple years now and somatic experiencing, and I've worked with Peter Crone and Tony Robbins and a lot of these different type of really big coaches, and all of it has helped immensely.
And he did all these trainings too, and he's so good at it.
Right. I really like what you said about your teacher sharing that everybody's a hypnotist, of like whether it's presence or tonality or just this ability to be with someone in a way that allows their nervous system to calm down and access deeper states of consciousness of like, well, this is really what's going on.
Yeah.
And I say to people, because I hear it a lot, and I bet you do as well, of like, I'll be on a flight or in a bar or something. People be like, I've never told this to anybody. I'm like, we're on to something. We're on to something. If you're saying these words, like, we're on the path. you know? And the willingness, like you talked about, and like I say with whether it's coaching or therapy, like, it works if you do. And it's neat to hear what you said about, like, even with a bit of skepticism, because you talk about belief patterns and whatnot, like on that subconscious state, the identity of who we are for ourselves kind of falls away as the predominant leader. And then the subconscious of like, actually, I'm really tired of this and I'd really like to make a breakthrough. And I don't know what to do, but I'm open. Otherwise, they wouldn't even let it in.
Totally.
Know? I'm curious, so a little backstory. You were 19. How old were you when the whole brain thing happened?
I was 21.
21.
Yeah.
You found out you had a brain tumor that with less than a 1% chance of survival.
Less than 1% chance, yeah. And I was living a completely different life back then. Like, I was just working my butt off at these mediocre jobs. No offense, Red Robin, but like
the bird of Red Robin.
Yeah, I was the bird. I honestly was the bird multiple times, which was, it's crazy now, that costume never gets washed. And, and it's like in this bird costume, handing out balloons, you get paid for a 1-hour shift and you get a free meal. And I just like, now I look at that, I'm like, man, $10 plus a burger to like, what was I doing? And, but so I did a lot of things back then. I was serving tables. I was doing massage therapy. I was modeling. Like, I was just running around.
As the bird.
Yeah. I did run around as the bird. Yeah. At least twice a month. But it's just so crazy to look back at now, because during that surgery, I felt like I was going to make it, you know? And even though the doctors kept saying, like, they kept looking at my mom and they're like, you might want to get real with her. Like, it's never worked before. And I would go home and I was like, why is he being so negative? Like, and she's like, well, it is 1%. It is for science. And, and so like, and she also said that for neurosurgeons, it's a really good thing when they don't have the social skills, because that just means that they've taken their studies so seriously. And so him communicating like that was, she said it's a good thing. And yeah, so I had this kind of resilient belief, like, not fully belief, maybe like a flirtatious idea. I was like, I could make it. And then when I did come out of it, it just felt like I tried that old role on of who I used to be. Like, I tried to take it serious and run around and be the bird and hand out the balloons and, listen to getting yelled at, I mean, serving tables at Red Robin, like, I would get people that would be pissed because I forgot to bring them ranch or their refill Diet Coke. And I just stood there and I was like, there's just no way this is my life. Like, I can't take this serious anymore. I can't pretend to, this is just not it. And my managers at work were like, Amira, you need to like get it together. Remember, you were a fast server. You always loved having a lot of tables because then you make more money. So I was like, yeah, give me all the tables. It's great. And then I just didn't have it in me. I just couldn't care anymore, and went to Maui and built a completely different reality from scratch. But yeah, it's wild to have that resilient little flirtatious idea. Like, maybe it could be better somewhere else, Yeah. It felt good to go and find that.
Yeah. And I love that relatability, right? Like, people could find you on Instagram and see your life and be like, oh, must be nice, but but like,
they're like, are you trust fund baby? I'm like, no.
Yeah, trust the universe, like,
yeah.
And to be like, no, this is where I came from, and your conscious choice to divorce your past and marry a compelling future, that most people would be like, you're crazy.
Yeah, totally.
And they did, right? They did, whether it was your family or your friends or your coworkers, they were like, she's lost it, guys. Like, and I remember these moments when, and it's like a test, right? Like, you had multiple, I don't remember what they were called. Like they weren't going away parties, but there was something like that. And, and you just kept having them, right? You're like, no,
Yeah.
I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be here. And here you are 11 years later, 12, whatever
yeah,
it is now.
exactly. 12 years later.
Right. And so to see what commitment looks like in action on the court, going after your dream time and time again, you know, I really hope the listeners really hear that as like, this is possible no matter what your circumstance is.
Yeah. And just, I think it's like sometimes we don't even know what that new dream is. Like I didn't know what I was doing when I went to Maui. I just thought anything's got to be better than this. So
Where were you before?
I was in Seattle.
Okay.
And like, no offense, I like Seattle, but it just, the way I was living was not something that I could do. I mean, I can't even imagine now just working full time in a restaurant, running around. And I used to have crying shifts because I'm a sensitive person. So if managers are upset or whatever, I would plan for 20 minutes a day that I would go run into the freezer and just like either just like freak out to myself or like cry or just like, you know, like just let something out of my body because it didn't feel good to be there. And now it's crazy that I did that, you know, that's what I thought was the ultimate goal. I remember looking at the bartenders and I thought, man, maybe one day I'll become a cool bartender. You know?
I heard that.
Like, or maybe I'll become like a manager of this job or a regional manager. And it's like a company I don't have anything that resonates with it. So it's just shocking that those were my dreams back then. And to go to Maui was more than it was building the new dream because I didn't even know what I was doing. It was like courage with the unknown, to just constantly be like, well, the unknown feels better than what I know. And so I'll just keep leaning into that and we'll see where we end up. But and it took me on all kinds of journeys to living in the jungle for a year without shoes and studying the mind. And then, you know, like building businesses, building retreats, and now hypnotherapy. I think because I got to build my life from scratch, I want to see other people be able to look at where they're at and just start shifting a few things in the right direction. It doesn't have to be massive, but it's amazing if you're in like a crappy relationship and you just like turn your confidence on a little bit more. It's not that you have to leave the relationship if it's not really giving you that space, but if you turn that confidence up, you just start to notice things feel different, you know? And if you turn on the security a little bit more, you could be in the exact same relationship. I'm super against the whole like make everyone a narcissist and like blame everyone else for all your problems and like, you know, like I'm super against that. I think that this is a resilience game and it's a capacity game. And so when we create more and more magic from the inside, we don't really need to run from anyone or anything. We don't need to blame anyone. Things can just not resonate and then you can, you know, go somewhere else. But I think if you increase the capacity and resilience, and that's what hypnotherapy is too, people think it's like mind control and someone else has the power. And it's like really just, it's helping you get that control back. You know, get more capacity, more resilience so that you can then choose. You can still go and do the exact same thing. You can behave from the exact same pattern, but it's like trying on clothes that don't really fit, you know? And you're like, can anyone else tell the clothes aren't really fitting? Like, it's just like, this doesn't feel as authentic. It was different when I believed I was like desperate, you know, to behave desperately, but try to behave desperately when you don't really believe in it. Like I would try to do that. And it's like, I would break character. It was like, this is so important to me, like so important. And then I would just, it's like, shoot, it's what's important again. Like it's just, it's tricky to, you can't really reverse yourself if you've started to fix those inner codings unless you work really hard at trying to build that back. But I find it pretty difficult.
Yeah. And I really like what you said because it's like the only sustainable thing is small shifts.
Yeah,
like, especially from the start, you know, a lot of people are like, all right, I'm going to do this crazy thing and I'm going to meditate for an hour a day. And I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you in a month.
Good luck. Yeah.
How's that going? Like, I got 2 days. Like, I bet those 2 days were decent. You know, like, how were the other 28? And like, they sucked. I beat the shit out of myself. And it's like, okay. So, you know, and I resonate with that a lot. And like, you know, and that's how it was from the beginning, was like, okay, I'm going to hunt with a bazooka. You know, like I'm not going to be a sniper. I'm not going to use a knife. I'm just going to blow everything up and I'm going to see what sticks.
Yeah.
And to see how unsustainable that was, you know, and I really liked what you said about relationships and confidence, you know, because I'm in a beautiful partnership, and I think you met Amber.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting. You know, she's an IFS practitioner and just immaculate space holder, and has been so delicate with me in my own unraveling. When my dog died, like, all of my childhood trauma that I thought I was really dealing with came up on a level that I never thought possible. And none of my coping strategies worked anymore. You know, I could breathe my brains out. Wim Hof, doesn't matter. I could jump in an ice bath 2 or 3 times a day. I could get in the sauna. I was literally just trying to beat my nervous system into submission so he would give up. But it was like, there's no change work in that, because I'm so exhausted. There's no energy to actually move in a compelling direction either. And so, you know, what you said, and the reason it sparked this was like this idea of like, oh, I need to leave this relationship to transform my life. And it's like, bro, I've already done that. Like, I've done that every time, you know, and the opportunity I see now is like, what if I just worked on myself and stopped blaming my partner for my lack of confidence, and be like, oh, actually, I just admit where I'm at, being okay, this is just where I'm, like, in what you said earlier of like, most people don't focus on what is as much as they focus on where they're going, and how much, kind of on a subconscious level, the bypassing that occurs in that, to be like, well, no, this is just where we're headed. You know, it's like, yeah, but where are you? You know, and I can really resonate with that, because I think I spun my wheels for a long time trying to pretend, you know, to be disillusioned to reality.
It's pretty common in the spiritual world too.
Oh, it's Maui's like the epicenter of spiritual bypassing, you know, and I get it, you know, and also
You can just feel the tension. They'll be meditating and they're just like, positivity, positivity, positivity. And it's just like painful to even watch. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like, there's just no way that attracts what you want.
it's allowed me to explore, Maui specifically has allowed me to explore. I said it for years, like, sobriety is my superpower. And I was like, I'm not actually sober. Like, oh, I go to ecstatic dance, but the ecstasy actually comes from cannabis, not from the dance, you know, and exploring that, so, like, in a sober state, to be like, oh, well, oh, there's just a lot of anger there. No wonder I'm not in ecstasy. I'm just pissed about life. I'm just mad at my childhood, you know, or my parents or my brother, or my relationship. And it's like, I appreciated what you said in another podcast. Like, sometimes you're just driving in your car and you got to scream.
Yeah.
It's interesting how many times I make the joke I've cried in every corner of this garage.
Yeah.
Like, in the sauna, in the ice bath, over there, you know, just allowing myself to have emotions.
It's so important.
Part of my journey, I believe, is like, as a man, sharing that, of like really truly falling apart. And this is kind of where that confidence thing like became difficult, is I fell, like, the joke is everybody wants an ego death until they're breaking into your house. You know, and it's like, actually, I like who I am. This is my stuff, you know, and that kind of happened when Chester died. It was like, I let go of everything. I let go of my relationship. I let go of my house. I let go of my relationship with my family. And I fell into a void where I was like, I don't even know who I am anymore. You know, and it started to encroach on my coaching practice of like, what do I offer?
Yeah.
You know, and my clients would all, like, I spent a week in Kansas City last week with one of my clients, and both him and his wife, who is my ex, one of my previous clients, were like, you saved my life. Like, the work we did together was so transformative. Like, I have a new life now. And I'm over here like, what do I do? Like, what do I, someone asked me today when I was playing tennis, like, what do you do? And I was like, limiting belief coaching. He's like, what's that mean? And like, I have the talk track for it, but like, I can feel as a resonation in my body, there's a disconnect there of like, oh, and I told my partner recently, I was like, there's a part of me that feels like I can't coach myself out of this. So then I must be a fraud. You know, like, if I can't get myself out of this, and my therapist is, you know, I can't do it with therapy. And so like, what, I must be an imposter, you know? And it's such an interesting thing to not try to break through that, to not like be like, I'm going to change you. To just be like, okay, like, you can be here for now. Like if that's what you need, if I need to like allow that part of me to be validated, but then other parts come in and are like, bro, this is not okay. Like we can't just live here. This is not how it's going to be, you know? And so I guess I share all that just to say like, it's been a very interesting unraveling to allow myself to truly transform on a cellular level, you know, because I came similar to you, like 10 years ago, I was working in corporate America. I ran all of North America production for Pantene, Herbal Essence, and Aussie. Every bottle of shampoo in America came off the lines that I ran. I was running a $300 million business at 26, and I was so incredibly empty. I'm just like, oh, I did it. I got the job, I got the car, I got the girl, I got the salary, I got it all, and I don't want any of it.
Yeah.
And that's I guess I had a midlife crisis at 25, just like, wait, I thought this is what we did.
Yeah, and then this comes with that feeling of fulfillment.
Right.
But what I found from being around so many different successful people or famous people or whoever people who have gotten that, all those different checks, they all hit that, you know? I've never met anybody that said that, yeah, life is just amazing when you have it all. It's like they just say that when you do have it all, that's when you really feel the void, you know? Because you're just like, well, if this doesn't get me fulfillment, then what does?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a really cool perspective that you've lived that reality through too.
Yeah, it was, and so from corporate America, I quit my job, started a company with my friend who made a robot that feeds people who are paralyzed. So cerebral palsy, ALS, spinal cord injury, people waking up with transverse myelitis, like waking up paralyzed. Nothing was wrong, and then waking up paralyzed. And
Yeah.
it was the deepest lesson in gratitude I didn't know I needed. Of like these people who were incredibly happy and fulfilled, and just, you know, society would say like literally, if you ask like, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? It's become paralyzed, according to society. What's the best thing that can happen to you? Win the lottery. And then you look 5 years down the road, Tony Robbins talks about this a lot of like, who's happier? It's a trick question. It was whoever was before, you know, and it really shows how little circumstance plays into our inner world. Like it validates it, but it's not the answer in this inside out game. And it's part of the reason hypnotherapy is so like enticing, of just like, what's really going on under the surface here?
Yeah.
You know?
And you could feel it too. I mean, IFS is, there's an exercise that's similar to parts of IFS where we work on sabotage, and you really feel both parts, and you don't feel them from your mind. You don't feel like you put both of those parts in your hands, and you feel the tension between those parts. The part of you that you want to be, the part of you that you are not ready to let go of. And it's so interesting just to feel that tension, because people don't even know they get mad at themselves, like nail biters. They're like, I won't stop biting my nails. I don't know what's wrong with me, you know? And so I take them into that exercise, putting those pieces there, because there is a part that feels like the nail biting's necessary, and it's not wrong. And it was a survival tactic that got them through whatever. I don't even need to know about it. It's like, it's just for them to feel what's actually there underneath it, because those inner voices, like if you just try to delete them, they will like go wild, you know? They're like burning the house down. They will fight with anything. And so it's really just getting in touch with what's there, feeling that tension, not putting too much focus on that reality, but kind of connecting them to create a more integrated part, you know? Like for nail biting, it's like feeling safe. Like we want it to feel safe. We want it to know that we're going to listen, you know, whatever it is, like there's some sort of self-abandonment in it. So getting into that and being like, yes, we're going to make you feel safe, and we're going to go over here and operate without this pattern. And I think that's just, it's so cool, because you do have to meet yourself where you're at. You don't have to study it forever. I'm like really not into that. The people that just kind of like, I don't know, they get too excited about like trauma, and like, it's just, for me, it doesn't resonate. It's more, let's find out what's going on, what's there, what's felt, what's in the body still, and then let's move that energy and refocus it. I think of it kind of like if a dog's biting the corner of the fridge or something, you're going to say, don't bite the fridge, you know? But humans don't have anyone, adults, we don't have anyone saying, don't bite the fridge. So they get out of a breakup and they go home and study themselves for what, like years sometimes. And what's wrong with me? I think I'm broken, blah, 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 blah. No one's saying, don't bite the fridge. And it's so interesting because with a dog, you wouldn't go up to it and be like, well, maybe once. You might be like, well, why is it biting the fridge? Like, what? Maybe is there some peanut butter there or something? Like, you might actually check out why once. Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't spend every day forever checking out why he's biting the fridge. You would just say, stop biting the fridge. Okay, we know. And so it's interesting that humans, they don't have a chaperone. Like, they just get hijacked by their inner beings, and they don't have a connection to that part of themselves that's leading their life. And so they just end up there and they're studying themselves, or something else bad could have happened, and they're just hanging out in that space, and nothing is saying, stop biting the fridge. What do you want next? You know, how can we attune you to that? How can we, you know? And so I think that that's really just interesting. And for myself too, I'm shocked that there's been so many times that I've done that, where I've bit the fridge and I've just, you know, stayed in some sort of misery for too long.
I love that. I had this training once that said, like, the mind can't avoid a don't, right? And so when I ask clients, like, what do you want? They're like, well, I don't want this relationship, and I don't want to be poor anymore, and I'm tired of this body. And I'm like, great, what does that have to do with what you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
Like, this isn't process of elimination. I said, what do you want?
Yeah.
You know, and and that's where it's really interesting, because how many people are like, I have no idea. I actually have no idea. I can tell you what I don't want, because I bet it's back to that. I'll avoid my past instead of create a future, because then the energy of disappointment gets put on the table. It's like, oh, well, here's what I want and I can't have it. You know, it's like, well, whose belief is that? It's like, well, that guy who asked that girl and she shut him down, or I applied for that job and they turned me down. So, like, I just don't try anymore.
Yeah, I've got proof. Look.
Right. Like, there's a quote from one of my coaches, Peter Crone, says the being right is the poor man's version of self-worth. You know, it's like, I'll ruin my life to prove to you that I'm a piece of shit. And it's like, that's a shit strategy, fam.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's not a good way to go about this.
That's so interesting. Wow.
But to your point, right? Like, don't bite the fridge, don't bite the fridge. Even Luce, right? Jumping on you, being like, hey, don't jump, versus like, okay, redirect.
Yeah.
Like, hey, babe, come here. You know, like, here's a treat. Like, sit, you know, lay down.
Yeah.
Oh, look, she's doing what I want. Like,
Yeah.
what happened to don't jump? Like, well, that's not what we want. So why would I focus on that?
Yeah.
But so many people are programmed to, like, in the self-help world and the way that it's been propagated is like, no, find everything, like the David Goggins of the world, like, find everything you hate about yourself and kill it. And it's like, I don't know about that. Like,
yeah. I'm a big proponent of stealing the remote back from your inner hijackers, but I don't know about killing them.
right, right. And
they're going to exist, you know, but it's just like, take the remote back as much as you can and try to go for what you actually want.
right. In IFS, it's like returning to self-leadership, you know, like
Yeah.
part-led versus self-led. And I'm curious for you, like, what are some of those practices that you found to take that remote back?
I think it's tricky. I think it's easier when you're in a relationship because you're more aware of your own bullshit. Like, it's just like
Here's your mirror.
Yeah, like, realistically, if you're living alone and you can get away with being however you want. You can just avoid friends for a few days. If you're annoyed with them, you don't really have to talk about it. You don't really have to be your best. You can just, you know, hide. You could watch Netflix by yourself and, like, just waste time, get stoned. You could do whatever.
Call everybody a narcissist.
Yeah, you could do whatever. You can blame the world. You can be a troll on social media. Like, there is, like, no consequences for that reality. But when you're with a partner and you live with them, everything you do affects the other. Like, how you feel inside affects the other. You're co-creating a container and a climate in the house. And so if things are tense, like or difficult or tricky, it is like so hardwired into our system to be like, you, it's your fault. If only you did this, or if only you made me feel this, or if, and literally every part of us that struggles, like if you struggle to take up space, you're going to be like, you make it hard for me to take up space. Or if you struggle to feel validated and heard, you're going to be like, a bad listener. And it's just like, it's so easy to blame, and we can trick them. We can trick them into thinking they're the problem. We can't really trick ourselves. We know on some level, like I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be blaming or whatever. So I think I got inspired by my impact on partners, like living in relationship, and just seeing, if I blame him, he's going to go on a little spiral here. And like, it'll maybe take an hour. It might take some days, but it's going to impact the connection. And then it's going to affect the climate in the house. And so I just got inspired by, I want to get the things that I enjoy out of my partner. And if he feels bad about himself, like, because a weak moment in me, I'm not going to get much, like, what do I love? I love having like cuddly afternoons, and I love having laughing fits over nothing. And if I do this little blaming thing now in this weak moment, then probably not going to get that. Probably not today, maybe not tomorrow. And then, he has to build himself back up. And then like, it's just like tricky. So I got inspired by that process, and I started to realize when I would go to blame, I started catching it. And it's not that I fixed it right away. It's more like, it's still a practice. It's like, oh, I want to blame him for this thing right now. And like, I don't feel great, or I have a stomach ache, and I want to like pull him into it, like that desire still shows up. That's from like long time ago, like, it's always there. That is just, misery wants to be shared. And so that desire still can show up. But what I'm doing, where it started, is pause. Mm-hmm. What is my inner world wanting? And at first I was like, I don't know. It is just busy in there. It's like loud. And I just feel like I'm shaking. I'm not even sure what I'm feeling. I have no idea what's going on, but I do want to blame him. And I was like, well, that's interesting. And then I started to get more connected. Like, I started building out an inner character that would steal the remotes around. And I created a name for her, and I built her out to like be this thing that I could connect with and understand. And when that started to happen, where I'm uncomfortable, right? Like, this happens all day, every day, especially if you're with someone, it happens, like triggers happen. And so if I'm feeling something, I started to check in with, well, what is that part even wanting, And if I don't know, then maybe don't bring it anywhere, like maybe just wait a little. Like, sometimes it's okay to not be okay, just to be like, okay, we don't feel great right now, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. And embracing more of my inner emotions around it, like that somatic work of like letting yourself just cry. And, once I started to understand what she was wanting or what she was saying, I could more easily meet the needs, and then I could do it myself. And I found that came with less drama too, because then, sometimes it's, when we're in a relationship, we're not really aware that the other person is having their own journey. They're having like their own experience, and they are haunted in their mind by their own inadequacies and their own ambitions and their own, sometimes we just move through life like, when we are being hijacked, it's like this kid's taking over, and it says, me first now, like, and so getting more and more control and respect for the fact that they're doing their own thing. And then now, as I practiced that, I could understand the voices. I could hear them. I could, oh, okay, she wants this. Oh, okay, she wants that. and then start to get aware. And even for me and my partner, it became like a fun game. Like, you know, if I start to ask for reassurance or something, like if I'm having a weak moment and I just look at him and say, why do you even love me? And he's like, is that you or is that blank? And I'm like, oh, yeah, actually.
Right.
And so he would support in that way and just kind of hold my hand, let me reassure myself. And then if I still need it from him after, he will give it. But just helping me create that sense of security inside was pretty powerful. But yeah, that's kind of how it starts. First, I don't know what I feel. Then it's like, I think I know what I feel. And then eventually, and there was like a treasure hunt of figuring out what I feel.
Right.
And then eventually it gets like a little bit more clear. Like you start to notice this pattern or that pattern. And yeah.
Yeah, I love that. There's so much power in the words, I don't know.
That phrase gave me a lot too. That was like 6 months of unknown where just when you don't know what to do next, because the old patterns aren't great.
Right.
The new patterns aren't clear, and there's just a lack of information. And just sitting in it and saying, I don't know what to do, or I don't know what I feel, or it also takes the pressure off the other person, because
Right.
then they're like, oh, she doesn't even know.
Right.
So it's pretty hard to take it personal.
Right. I remember thinking once recently, I was like, I can't say I don't know if I don't trust life. Because if I feel like I have to know, because I can't trust that life's going to give me something that's for my benefit, it's
Yeah.
really hard to admit, oh, I don't know. But I love the steps you gave there, because once I say I don't know, then it's like, okay, well, what might I be feeling? You know, and usually starts as like, I think I'm feeling this. And it's like, well, you can't think of feeling. So now we're playing the climb down the ladder into my body. And it's like, okay, I feel that I'm feeling something in my belly, or I'm feeling tightness in my hamstring. Okay, what is that feeling? It's amazing how I can speak to my own experience, where I remember one time I was at Baldwin Beach, and all these dogs were around, and this is like pretty early on in the grief stages, and I was like, I don't want to be here. So I left, and I was driving, and I was like, oh, I don't feel good at all. So I pulled over like a side street, and I was sitting in my car, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm feeling right now. Like, I'm not feeling sad. I'm not feeling angry. I'm not feeling lonely. Oh, I'm feeling grief. And I just start bawling of just like when the vibrational alignment of our container is like, that's it. And then we can actually feel that and emote. Then we actually have a chance of connection.
Yeah.
You know, and I really appreciate the way you shared that, of like, without you knowing what you're looking for, how could you ask for it from your partner?
Yeah.
And usually it's the opposite of like, oh, I want connection. Okay, well, if
It's
I want
like a vague thing.
right. And it's like, well, if I want connection, the way I'm trying to get it is by pushing them away so that they come back to me,
Yeah.
which is a pretty shit strategy, but I've
But
known it
like
pretty.
works, but it's, yeah, the results are not great.
No, like, and to have a partner that will sit with you, or a partner that's like Amber will sit with me and be like, yeah, what are you feeling? Oh, like, I'm feeling worthless right now. Like, oh, that's a really tough feeling. Like, do you want my listening or my reassurance? And usually starts as listening, of like, yeah, I feel like shit right now. Like, I don't feel like I have any value, or I just feel like this is pointless or whatever. And like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then that down regulation of the nervous system is like, I don't really need your reassurance now. Like, I know I'm valuable to you. Otherwise you wouldn't be sitting in this container with me.
Right.
You know, and then it's like, oh, like, yeah, I was really trying to outsource that to be like, hey, can you save me right
Yeah.
now? Because, you know, like it feels easier than taking personal responsibility for the awful feeling inside of me. But once I felt it,
Yeah.
kind of good.
Well, I think humans just don't even know that they're supposed to take responsibility. Like, I think Instagram culture is like, he should be making you feel blah, blah, blah all the time. Like, you should have romance every day. And like, he should listen to all your feelings, and he should just be a rock. And like, there's just so much bullshit. And it's like, that's not a human.
Right.
And I find that those guys too, like Jay Shetty or whoever, that will say that love should always feel safe and it should always be easy and it should just be like, like all these things. I'm like, you guys are doing long distance all the time. Like, it's like, no, what do you mean? You're not living together face to face,
Right.
dealing with the bullshit that shows up, like when our moods affect the other. Like, taking personal responsibility on a daily basis is something that I don't think people know how to do, and they don't even think that they're supposed to be doing it. Right. They genuinely, like, I genuinely believed that my well-being should be his project. And then also I'm like, his well-being is my project. And he would look at me like running around trying to make him happy, and you just please, please, please. And he's like, you know, you don't have to do that, right? Like, you're loved without them. Like, what? Yeah, sure.
What do you mean? Have you seen Cinderella? Like, do you know Disney?
Yeah.
And we got such a shit hand dealt for a lot of us, you know, like that wasn't the programming that our, you know, grandparents had, for example. But we were sold this like fairy tale, like, you have to be in distress, Mira, and then Prince Charming will save you, you know?
Yeah, I'll just be here. They'll come in and bring in everything. Yeah, they'll save me.
Right.
And I think that that's the problem. I don't think it's, you know, that men aren't, like, men are so demonized nowadays. It's like just constant, like, oh, he doesn't provide, he doesn't do this, he doesn't know how to be a rock when I'm feeling emotional. And women aren't taking responsibility. They're just like, he should be able to brace my chaos. And it's like, bro, like, really? Like, if we're gonna spend forever together, you shouldn't want to test them constantly. Right. You know, it should be like, it's fine. Yes, it's ideal when they can handle your chaos from both sides, you know, but it's this constant testing culture that I've seen in a lot of girlfriends. They're like, he triggers me, so like, obviously he's not the one. I'm like, well, okay. Right. I don't know if you're going to find somebody that doesn't trigger you.
Right.
And I don't know that what you're putting on him is him. It seems like it might be yours, you know?
Right. The whole, like, if you're the common theme in all of your misery, there might be something there.
Yeah. And if you've seen this, especially when you've seen the pattern in previous relationships, I'm like, it might not be them, right. You know? Like, fine, call someone a narcissist. I'm still against it. But like, if you've got like 3 or 4, like, look, just take a peek at what you're doing in there, you know? Like,
right.
It's worth checking out.
Yeah. No, I you know, it's funny. I was thinking back to the moment I followed you back on Instagram, and I remember clear as day. It was a story where you were like, look, our relationship is beautiful, and it did not start this way, or it did not, like, we've slugged through some shit.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because like, that's actually relatable. You know, it's not relatable to have these like fairy tale-esque, like, perfect partnerships, which no matter what, really, the Instagram like machine is going to portray it that way, because it's just a post, it's a slice in time, versus the reality of like, yes, it can be a prerequisite that he can hold space for your chaos, and you don't want it to be the pattern, you know, like,
you don't want it to be the climate. Yeah.
Right.
And it's dual responsibility, but I do find that, like, I mean, both genders bring their own stuff, and sometimes it's not even just specifically women and men bringing but I do find with my female friends that it's a common thing. Oh, he's not dealing with my chaos. Like, I'm going to make him read a book or something. It's just like, I just think that it doesn't really work. Like, when you really love someone, and if you really want to build a life with them, then the climate becomes more intentional in the relationship. And that's something I had to learn. It's something that I was pretty reckless about, because I had partners that dealt with a lot of my chaos. And then they would baby me. They would reassure me. They would do, you know, so I just kind of I mean, obviously they didn't work out, because people get tired probably.
Right. Here we are again.
Yeah. And then now I'm in my longest relationship that I've been in, and it's something that I learned more so in this one, that the climate isn't just on the guy, that it's not just for him to carry the weight of everything. It's like, it's from both sides. And yeah, so I get why people have that, because I've had it for the majority of my life. I'm like, yeah, but I think it comes from men hurt me and now they have to deal with me. instead of, I want to build something beautiful and I want to come so deeply into my own magic that it just, I mean, you can never get promised that something's going to last forever, but you can definitely put your votes into that by just being in your best self and bringing that energy.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Like, you get what you focus on, you know, and if you want it to work out, it's much more likely.
Yeah.
You know, and I was looking at a post of, I don't remember how long ago it was, but you made the joke about public display of affection with Mike. And how you compared yourself to an Opihi.
Yeah, I'm an Opihi.
Yeah, you're like, I'm a clingy and I love it and I want all this stuff. But this opportunity for ourselves, in ourselves, and with other to explore what it means like to actually feel safe.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Why does this not feel allowed? Why
because that was a safety Band-Aid. And it worked so well for so long. I attracted friends that were like that. And then with Mike, he has more of a need for independence. And so it was just this weird dance where I would panic all the time. I'm like, why is he not doing the thing that I want him to do? And then I found strength in it. And I changed. And he came closer too, but not but it was one of the more difficult things for us to sort out.
Yeah, I can deeply resonate. You know, like, I remember, you know, Amber would say things like, I could spend all the time with you. And I was like, like, I need my
for
independence.
For a woman, it's like, this is romantic. And for a guy, it's like, what?
Right. And, you know, like, I'll never forget, I was reading David Data's The Way of the Superior Man, and it was like,
such a good book.
so good. And it was like, if your woman becomes before your mission, you will come to hate yourself. And I was like, and I told her flat out, I was like, look, you will always be second to me. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't revere and cherish and honor you. But if I sell myself for your affection, approval, and admiration, I will hate myself. You know, and so there's this balance now where, like, and it's been hard for me to be like, you know what, I just want to spend tonight by myself. And then very quickly for that part to come in and be like, well, she's just going to go sing karaoke in Kihei and all these guys are going to hit on her and da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, is that a problem? It's like, only if I believe she's unfaithful. If I believe she's rooted in her desire and in her power, like, that doesn't mean anything. You know, and it's like, oh, there's something back to responsibility of like, oh, there's something in me of like, oh, I'm going to be hurt. So I'll just hurt her or hurt myself in order to not be hurt. And I'm like, again, shit strategy.
Yeah, but it's so human too. It's hard because it becomes, I kind of say it like learning to deal with my own needs was, I feel like it's being a recovering alcoholic and living with your bottle.
Right.
And it's just, don't drink it, don't drink it, don't drink it. And because it's this constant, you know, this could be the Band-Aid and then reminding, and I think it's important as much as I think women more often, or at least like the more anxiously attached, or it could be a man too, they want to be merged. They want to spend all the time together. But I've been that person. And what I've found is when I don't have that, I feel a sense of space too. And it feels good. Like it just feels good to feel like I'm me and not just I'm my relationship. So I think even though it's like, it's very hard to pull apart, and I know Mike could probably resonate with that too, because when he started, you know, wanting to work more, he's a super ambitious man. So it's when he started to want to work more, he's like, I feel like I can't work enough. And I was like, well, why? And he's like, because I'm sure you want to spend like our evenings together. I was like, I'm okay. Like whatever you need to do, like, let's make space for that. And it was just this really tricky adventure in him to give himself permission to even spend that time for himself that he needed. And then even when he would do it, he would be haunted by, is this okay? You know, is it okay for me to have my own needs? Is it okay? And so it's like not even able to focus on work for a long time because it was just, is this okay? Is it okay for me to ask for space, you know? And I think it's a blessing to both people, no matter how good it is. And my like past self codependent girl would completely disagree. But I do think it's powerful to spend some time apart and just to feel your own essence. And if it feels scary, good.
Right. You're on to something.
Like, feel it, touch your body, feel that discomfort that happens when they walk out the door. Just like really bring that back into your body, you know?
I deeply resonate with that. And Amber, she's danced for years, you know, and so she'll go to ecstatic dance. I usually go to that with her, but I'm not a huge fan of the contact dance container. It's not really my scene. You know, it's great for other people.
Yeah.
And so early on, you know, I would gut my way through it of like, well, actually, first I was like, I don't want you going. And then it was like, I'm controlling your life. Please go if you want.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'm also going to be allowed to speak my truth of like, I think there's some dudes in this container that are kind of leaky and gross, you know, like, and I'm not saying you can't go. I'm just saying like, notice this, you know, and, or at least can you see my reality without taking responsibility for it?
Yeah.
You know, and having these nights where I'm by myself and she's at dance. And, you know, it's funny. She comes right back to me and it's like, you know what? I actually wish I would have stayed home with you.
Oh.
You know, like it was fun and I'm really glad I moved my body. And like, man, all I do is think about you while I'm there.
Yeah, that's
you know,
so sweet.
You know, and it's like, oh, like, so we can actually be separate and still be
building
connected.
trust in that.
Right.
And I think too, what you said of like, there's some leaky dudes, pay attention to that. That to me, I think men don't know the line of like, do I control or do I not invest? You know, like they don't really know that middle ground of like, they know how to control and that doesn't feel good. And then they know how to avoid investing in the person because they've just assumed whatever. But I think that middle ground, like I was a dancer when Mike met me and I was hosting festivals, you know, 500 plus people dancing, and it's Brazilian Zouk. It's like this super close, intimate dance. And I quit dancing when I started seeing Mike, and I couldn't figure out why. I was like, I've loved this for years. This has been my entire identity. And I just don't even know why I'm losing interest in it. And it wasn't that he ever asked me not to do it or that he like even hinted at it. All he said was, if you're going to dance for you, go for it. If you're going to dance because you feel like something's missing here, talk to me first. Maybe I can give that to you because I want to make sure that if you go, it's for you. And then you go and enjoy. I trust you. All is good. But if it does come from any weakness in our relationship, I'd rather repair that. And then I was like, I would get moody or upset or something. And I was quite flighty when I met him. So I was like, I'm going to go dance because, I just am feeling it. And he's like, okay, are we good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, are you sure?
A period or a question mark?
Yeah, like just frozen. Yeah, I think. And then he would just meet me in that space and say, okay, if there was something you needed, what would that be? And I was like, well, I'm just craving some affection, craving feeling like seen and like affection and just close to someone. And he's like, okay, I was thinking to watch a movie. If you wanted to like cuddle and watch a movie, we could do that. Or if you want to go dance, you can totally do that. But just me having revealed my need, I felt like the desire to run away was gone.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm like, well, what sounds better? These random guys holding me and twirling me. And, you know, half the time I feel connected and half the time I feel like I have to set boundaries.
Right,
It's not 100% positive. And then with Mike, it's like, he's 1,000% more attractive. He's my guy. He's the one that's like, he's got his big arms and it just feels like heaven in them. And so I compared the two realities. And then I always chose him. But I love that he found this space of, because from the outside looking in, like I wouldn't have dated me if I was, you know, going out dancing every night in the beginning. Like I wouldn't take that seriously. But he found a way to bring that energy, like ground that energy with me. And I think what you were saying too, like he'll say the same type of stuff. Like he'll say, okay, yeah, go do that thing. Just like be mindful, you know? Yeah. And that to me, for some women, they're like, oh God, he's controlling. For me, that feels like, wow, I'm protected, you know, like I have someone that's like looking after me and sees me as valuable, and that's just so different.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
I think that's a beautiful way to be heard from that masculine perspective, because like women don't want to be controlled, but like, hello, protection and containment and this energy, if you see it through the lens of controlling all the time, I don't know if you're going to find that protector, you know?
Right.
It's different if they say like, you're not allowed to blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, that's a little much.
Right.
But if it's genuine protection, that's nice.
Yeah, there's a fine line between a castle and a cage.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Yeah, it's I feel like we could talk on this, and you know, just the resonance of what it's like to be, you know, and I'll speak on the men's behalf of like, you know, every dude wants to be in a conscious relationship until your woman holds you to your integrity.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You know, like every dude's like, I want a conscious partnership and sacred union and embodied sexuality until she's like, you gonna stop watching porn, bro? And he's like, you know, or any of that stuff. You gonna stop being leaky?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, maybe you should go to dance. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But I
Yeah.
do really believe, you know,
It's so confronting.
100%. You
Yeah.
know, because, and this is the beauty of this. Like one of my favorite quotes around union is, "Men protect women in the physical realm. Women protect men in the spiritual realm." You know, like you as the female, as the portal to God. You know, as the other side of the
Yeah.
universe. You know, like you have an accessibility to feeling us sometimes before we feel ourselves. And it's like, hey, babe, are you living in your truth? Like, are you like in your integrity? And it's like, yeah. ... You know, question mark. You know, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
And thank you for noticing. Like,
Yeah.
but it takes a really big man to actually admit that of like,
Yeah.
I'm being a boy right now. And I'll be the first to admit, like, I feel like I became a man when I held my dog's hand as he died. Like, it's not a boy thing to do to usher your best friend to death. You know? And I feel like that was the first time in my life I was like, oh, I'm a man. And now I'm getting like this crash course and like grow up, you know, and like, it's not random that we've come to the island of lost boys and seeing all these Peter Pan type dudes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to be like that. You know, like I want to stand for what I believe in and my legacy and my intent and my partnership. And I don't want to say it makes it harder, but in a way it does, because women, when they see that, they're like, wait, you like keep your word and you don't like objectify, and like, are you single? No. I'm like, damn, like, do you have friends? You know, like, yeah, actually I do, you know, and to really stand for this new version of love and embodiment of like, yeah, this is a different game. This is different than what I saw between my parents, and lack of repair and building resentment and a lot of these petty comments. And it's like, I don't want that anymore.
I know.
You know, and it's very challenging to break a mold and still allow that to be the case when I go back home, you know, and to not try to fix them and just say, thank you for showing me what I don't want. But I do know what I do want.
Yeah.
And it's something where I feel safe in, I feel honored, I feel, you know, respected.
And like seeing the good in it too. Like, even though there's a lot that took me a long time. I was trying to fix family every
Oof.
trip home. I was like, put away the soda, drink more water. Like, let's stretch a little. Let's maybe go for a walk. Like, it just was so forceful. And then it switched to like, there's avoiding. And then now I feel like when I go home, that's always the ultimate test, but just to see the good in it, like see the little cute care in like the annoying worry, you know, just like, okay, I'm super loved and this is how they do their thing, you know, or like even in the petty comments, okay, they're just a bit insecure, like try to help them feel good about themselves or something. Like, I mean, I'm from Swedish culture, so it's like pretty harsh. The
Just
jokes
straightforward.
It's just, I mean, the way that people operate is, it's insults are kind of just a normal, they're just normal dialogue.
Right.
And I think it's so funny because I have a Swedish friend here. And so just hearing her reflect on how she connects with men. Like she went up to her partner and she's like, "Oh, you look less fat this week. That's nice." And it's not even like a positive. It's just so matter of fact.
Right.
And
It's
he's,
observation.
yeah, it's just an observation. He had a full on like meltdown. Well deserved.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And he was talking about it for a while and she just couldn't understand it because she's like, well, that you look less fat, like that's a good thing. You know, I was trying to compliment you. Like you should probably be less insecure. And I was just watching this process and I was like, the Swedish way of communicating is kind of wild. You know, there's so many better ways to say something like that.
It sounds like the Koreans and the Swedes read from the same language book.
Like blows my mind. But my family's like that. So it's just you go home and there's just a few little slaps across the face while they're just doing their regular talking. And like looking for the good in it and then holding some sort of boundaries.
Right.
And it's just an interesting journey. But it is definitely not what we want to create, right? Like that's I like that you said I don't know what I'm creating next, but it's not this, you know.
I deeply resonate with that. There's years where I'm like, you guys need to be paleo and da-da-da-da-da and all this. You need to move your body in this way and do yoga. And like, now I go home and my mom's like, she practices yoga for 2 hours a day and she meditates. And she like tells me, she's like, yeah, I buy mostly organic food and all this stuff. And
Whoa.
and it's really interesting because like
How long did that take?
at least 5 plus years. But yeah, like I go home now and my mom's like, do you want to do yoga together? Do you want to do breath work? My dad will take ice baths. Like it's pretty
What?
wild.
Wow.
My parents, one of the most profound things that ever happened was one day, it was after I worked with Peter Crone, and he revealed this limiting belief in me that I didn't matter. And no joke, and he talks a lot about quantum entanglement and this stuff. Next week, after this was revealed and like dissolved, my dad called me. He's like, hey man, I've been working on this like list. And I was like, oh yeah, it's like a list of all the ways I like don't, like I fucked up or something. He's like, no, it's like all the ways you mattered to me. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you know, I just want to share it with you. Like, you know, I play guitar at 63 years old because you showed me that I could still be allowed to fail. And I introduced him to the Landmark Forum, and it created a whole new world of possibility for him and his relationship with my mom. And then the last one was, and because of the work you're doing, your mom and I are in therapy now. And I was like, whoa, like this is, you know, and it's still a work in progress, you know, like my mom will still say some of the most hurtful things I have ever heard, like unfathomably painful.
Yeah.
Just like, what is the benefit in that? You know, it's
Yeah.
like the less fat comment of just like, this seems barbaric, you know, and it's also just like English isn't her first language. She comes from a very matter-of-fact culture. And do I deep down to the core of my being believe that she loves me? Because if I believe that she loves me, whatever she said can be passed through that filter somehow,
Yeah.
which is still pretty hard sometimes of just like, I don't know, man, like that was pretty fucked up. Like, you know, but just like, okay, you know, I'll talk to you
Yeah.
later, you know, but to hold my ground and my boundary of like, hey, if I'm going to be like, one time we were sitting on the couch and she asked me, she's like, you know, Scott, I've been noticing some things about you. I just need to put in front of you. And I paused, like you said earlier, that pause.
Yeah.
I took a breath. That was my practice, was take a breath before I respond. Are you attempting to be helpful or hurtful in this moment? And just to sit with her in that, of just like, what is your intention here? You know, and to watch it land in her of just like, I'm trying to be helpful. Okay. And to like let her speak and then remember, like she said, yes, helpful. So like, okay, filter through this lens. Because what she said was like, still really hurtful in my ego. You know, my egoic sense was like, who's this bitch to tell me what I'm doing with my life and da-da-da-da-da. And then, you know, to like really listen to her and hear her experience and give it back to her of like, hey, well, what I heard you say was this. Now, can you see as your son that when you said that, like, this is how it would land? And she like was like, wow, yeah, that's actually really hurtful. I'm sorry. Like, I can see why you wouldn't want me around. And literally said, like, I sound like I'm pretty toxic to you. You do say some pretty fucked up shit, Mom. Like, it's pretty hurtful. Like, I go to therapy to talk about you. You know, like, that's mainly what I do is talk about our relationship. And and to like have these conversations and still sometimes to take space, like hard boundaries of like, hey, I
Yeah.
can't right now. Like, doesn't mean I don't love you. I love
Yeah.
you sometimes more than I love me, but I'm just going to have to put you over there for a little while, not in a punishment sense, but like I need to protect my energy because I don't want to ruminate on this for another week or 3,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that's sometimes the hard part of healing that we don't really talk about is like the lonely aspect of walking this path, you know, and it starts out lonely. It isn't always forever alone, but
But there's like lonely chapters coming every time we're confronted with ourselves. I feel like there's a sense of aloneness in that
yeah,
because the old comfort, we're not giving it to ourselves, you know? Then there's also nobody speaking the language. There's no one else doing it. And then you do find people doing the work as well. And that can be a little bit more validating because, oh, okay, you're also like having a hard time over there sometimes. Oh, okay.
Right.
You also, you know, you're working on this and not fully there yet. Okay, cool. Like it just kind of
Right.
gives us this, okay, I'm doing okay, you know? And but yeah, I think there is a sense of aloneness even in just the little confrontations of letting go of an old pattern or like an old way of showing up feels lonely because it's like just even when I had to let go of my drama, like I would have full blown meltdowns and like wailing on the floor and all this stuff. And like now I can still do that type of thing, but like it was different when it felt 1000% necessary. And I remember like when I started communicating calmly about what I needed or what I wanted or what I was even feeling, it felt like lonely, you know? I've always had this friend with me that's like, you know, burning down the house and I got some sort of something from it. Like I got this feeling of like relief or this like I don't know, it's like addicting to feel chemicals come up. It's like a drug, you know? And so it is lonely to even wave goodbye to some of these patterns and to not really know, but to try. And then even as I'm communicating calmly, like, okay, conflict 3, and it's like a conversation instead of a fight, I was like, this sucks. This doesn't feel as good as it felt to like go off the rails. And then I kind of had to grieve that. Like I remember I wrote a letter to that part of me. It's like, yeah, like just letting that go with love and honoring it, the fixes that it gave along the way too.
100%.
And how I felt important and how I would feel like prioritized. Because I know, I mean, in a relationship, if someone's like, this is life or death, this ultimatum right now, or I'm leaving, or I'm this, or like it would give me a sense of importance then because they would do whatever, like control. It gives a sense of importance, but it robs you later, you know? And, but I do think, yeah, it's lonely to let go of our patterns and it's confusing. Yeah.
I really like what you said about writing a letter to her because I believe that's the only way that any of this is actually sustainable is to acknowledge and honor like these parts.
Yeah.
Like last week, I was like back and forth. I quit smoking weed for a long time last year, and then I picked it back up when I started like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. Like I'm gonna go for it. Right at the same time, it was like, yeah, we should probably pick that up. We should probably start getting high again. And it was like,
yeah.
this is really interesting. Like I'm posting every
timing.
day and I'm like going after it. And
Yeah.
we should probably find some self-sabotage in here. And I was talking with another one of my coaches. His name's Eisen. And he was like, yeah, it makes sense. Like cannabis was your mommy. You know, cannabis like gave you an appetite when you weren't hungry, and it made you feel good when you didn't feel bad, and it made you tired and made you creative. Like she was your mommy, bro. And I was like, whoa. And so I went into EOW and like did a ceremony with myself and like gave all of the cannabis I had to the river. Just like let it go in the river. Instead of like giving it to someone else or throwing it away, I was like, thank you so much for all the times that you like held me when I didn't know what to do, and you made me feel creative and special and important and all these things. Like, thank you so much. And just like let it go. And instantly was like, I have no desire. Like it was like, I could take it or leave it. Like I definitely don't need it. you know, and it was like, I can be around it. There's edibles over there. Like, it doesn't, you know, it's like living with the bottle, you know, and it's just like, it's not for me right now. And I really, truly believe that that's the sustainable way versus like, yeah, you can't be here. You're the problem, bro. And it's like, oh, watch me, fam. Oh, hey, random neighbor just showed up. You want to get high? And oh, yeah, that sounds great. You know, like, it's just not sustainable. I've listened to so many podcasted my brain to death. But I really do, and this is why the idea for this podcast came about, is to have really human conversations.
Yeah.
You know, not these like 12 steps to fix yourself. You know, it's like there's a book already for that.
Yeah.
Or like all of those.
Yeah.
You know, but to just really resonate on a deep level of like, yeah, relationships are hard, and they're also beautifully worth it.
So worth it. Yeah, but it is the most difficult work I think you can do.
100%.
It's like,
And Amber always said that. Amber, like, this woman is just amazing. You know,
she's a wizard.
Yeah, she was like, you can go ahead. You want to leave? Go. Like, you're going to do the same work with the next girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a type of way, and I don't want to feel that. And I'm using you to outsource my responsibility right now. And oh, here I am crying now. Thanks. Thanks. You know, and to take responsibility of like, bro, there's only so much of this that any person would want to put themselves through. Like at some point.
You're like pushed to your edge. Like a lot of people say, if you get pushed too far, triggered too much, then it's not the right guy. No, honey, like that's where you break open.
Right.
And so it is, I feel like we do get pushed to our absolute edges in our relationship. And then the more we go along, we realize, fuck, I'm pushing myself to the edges. You know, it's like there's a weird realization of like with my drama, it was an interesting shift when Mike didn't believe in my drama. And I was like having a meltdown and I was crying. And then he's like, and he's just, you know, he's in his own reality. He's like, maybe I'll go to Africa for the next expedition. Like he was just in his own, like he was just thinking about something else. And I got confused. I'm like, well, if he doesn't take it serious, he's not like, he loves the shit out of me. He would do anything for me. He's such an amazing man and partner. But if he's not believing in this tantrum I'm doing, who am I doing it for? Because I thought I was going to get X, Y, and Z from this tantrum. And then I'm like, well, he's not even believing in it. I definitely don't believe in it. And it was just shocking. And that's what I mean too with hypnotherapy. It's like, you can do the same thing after but there's going to be something in the experience that doesn't feel authentic anymore. Like it just feels like, it feels like going from real life to acting. Right. And you're like, this is what I do. I fight over this, you know, like he was late and I fight over lateness, you know? And so we're fighting over lateness, but like, it's more of a performance. Like inside, I've felt, I don't actually care if he's late right now. Right. I'm just doing this because I don't fucking know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. And so it's just interesting to see, you could keep playing the role, but in reality, it doesn't quite fit. But yeah, if you want to do a little mini session, we could do that to close it out.
Yeah.
What would be something that you want to feel?
I really resonate with this idea of confidence, in specifically around, and it's interesting because I feel very confident in my coaching abilities, and yet there is something there in a blind spot of like, so why am I not creating the content or growing my business or telling people about it? And I don't necessarily know what it is. And it's really frustrating. Like, I feel like that's what I bring to my relationship when I'm stressed, of like, this isn't working. My money stories get activated. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, why is this such a problem? Yeah, I would say that is the thing that's like really hanging me up lately, is this feeling like I'm very qualified and capable. Yet there's a part of me that believes I'm not qualified enough or capable enough. And then I second guess myself, and not even second guess myself. Like I was in a session yesterday and I remember like I like asked a question, and the woman's like sitting there thinking about it, and I'm thinking in my head like, bro, do you even know what you're doing? And I was just like, dude, this is not the time. Like, we're like deep in the middle of a process.
Can't be
right now.
hijacked right now.
Right. Like, give me the remote, fam. Like, shut the fuck up. You know, but like, I would say, yeah, confident in my abilities.
If you picture it just in positive language going forward in the questions of, if you picture it in your mind, what would it look like? Who would benefit from it?
I think the first thing, like the one that's like really clear to me is like, I would be making more content. Like I have literally hundreds. I have Excel sheets and Google Sheets and Apple Notes of hundreds of post ideas that are incredible. They're hilarious, you know, and they're very like, people message me all the time of like, bro, this perspective shift just like blew me wide open. I had a guy once message me and he was like, I just like threw away all my vaping. He like quit vaping from one post I made. And he was like, this changed my life forever. And I was like, I need to post more. Like, you know, so the very clear one is I would be making more content. The second one is...
And who would benefit from that? Would you benefit from
I would
that?
benefit from it. Everybody that sees it would benefit.
Good.
Random strangers I meet walking in Paia would benefit.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to people randomly, like I tell them what I do and they're like, that's incredible, bro. Like, and sometimes I'll like sit with them. I had a guy in Wailea. My car broke down and I was just sitting there with my dog and we got to talking and he's like, can I come over and talk to you? Like, and I was like, of course, it's like an hour of my time. And blew his mind.
Yeah.
You know, like random strangers would benefit. My Amber would benefit. My room, like I feel like everybody would benefit from it.
Yeah. If you picture yourself fully posting, exposed, like sharing all your magic with the world, what would it feel like in your body? Would it have, like, what kinds of sensations would be there? Would there be more peace? What would that peace feel like?
The first word is exciting.
Yeah. What would excitement feel like? Would it feel like bubbling in your chest? Would it feel like tingling, activated?
Tingling, energized. I feel like I could run through a wall.
Okay, good.
Peaceful, like more income means less worry.
Yeah.
I would feel more settled. I feel like I would just feel a lot more like, I feel like I really resonate with what you said at the beginning of like how addictive it is to do this work. Like I feel I've never felt more assured of myself in my life of like, this is what I came here to do. I had a very hard childhood and I've done an incredible amount of work, literally just to stay on the planet, you know, to like not blow my brains out and just fold my cards. And I believe there are a lot of people in similar situations that would benefit from hearing a story of like, it can be really hard and really despairing and also extremely beautiful and fulfilling and worthwhile and rewarding and fun.
Well, it's cool because there's so many teachers that are talking like from up here down there. And so it's cool seeing someone that's lived a lot of life and being so human about it.
Right. I tell people like, I will climb in that hole with you. I'm not here to fix you. I'm not here to change you. I'm here to be like, you have a friend.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think that you need to change for my love. Like, and that's the most interesting thing I think in the work I do is just like, I love everybody regardless of what they do. Like I tell people like, there's probably nothing you could do to make that change. And they're like, well, I'll prove it to you. And I'm like, good luck, you know? And that took a lot of work for myself because I did not love myself or my life and sometimes still don't, you know, and I do not try to pretend that it's like all rainbows and butterflies. Like some days are very hard and to resonate with people of like, it's okay. Like you said, it's okay to not feel okay today in this moment, in this next minute, and I'll be there with you in that. And that I feel like is just something that I feel very committed to doing and being in the world.
And when you picture this reality, if you start to picture the version of you that you want to be in your practice, in social media, in podcasts, in life, like when you start to picture that, do you feel like an image can come on?
Oh, 100%.
That you can see it? Okay, perfect.
100%.
Okay, good.
Very clear.
As you wake up tomorrow, is there anything that could stop you from posting, from sharing, from this reality? And this part is mostly just collecting things to gain resilience. too when you're in the session?
Okay, so one thing that and it feels very petty, but it hurts, and I'll just admit it. When I started really posting like my journey and like the realities of emotions and being a man, I mean, it started even before this. Started in the job I had with the robot company that I was like, I'm gonna be me and I'm gonna stand for this, and then I got fired.
Yeah.
And so one thing that like does deflate my balloon or like takes the wind out of my sail is when I figure out or notice that like close friends of mine unfollow me on Instagram. Like, as petty as that sounds, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I probably will not stay in contact with this person just because we live on other sides of the planet and we don't talk anymore because we're not connected like that. And it bums. I had a dream, oddly enough, not odd at all, last night. My best friend in high school just like completely ghosted me, you know, and like it really hurt. It was really like a huge bummer. And I have and it's usually, it really only affects me as men. Like women, I'm like, okay, like whatever. Like, I'm not here to be your partner, so I don't really care. But like men, for whatever reason, that like bums me out.
What else could stop you? So getting unfollowed or feeling that sense of like rejection. What else? Would there be any thoughts that could stop you? Or is there any habit that could stop you?
Smoking weed brings in a lot of like fear and doubt. Doubt is usually the one that will stop me in like my thoughts of like, oh, like this doesn't matter, or no one's paying attention, or you know, Instagram's out to get me, like whatever, like the algorithm doesn't give a shit about my content.
Doubt.
Yeah, doubt.
Good.
Scarcity.
Yeah.
Money. Oh, I don't have enough money to make this happen, and things like that.
Is there any behavior you do instead that can stop?
Instead of like posting and doom scrolling my phone.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, like just mindless scrolling.
Good.
Probably about it, because I don't smoke weed, I don't watch porn, don't jerk off. Like, really, the one thing is like, I will rack up hours of screen time, and it's so abnormal. Like, usually my screen time is like 2 to 3 hours, and some days it's like 7 or 8, and I'm like, bro, what happened? And it's like, we know what happened. You know, like we just didn't want to feel today.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay. All right. We'll go into the session. So this will be basically the state I'm going to take you to if you've ever been like almost asleep on a couch. And then if someone walked by and said, I have pizza, you could come awake. You know, like it's like you're not under any sort of control. Yeah. That being said, the more you surrender, the more you relax into it. And for anyone that's listening or watching this recording too, you can plug this in with your own goal or dream. I'm sure a lot of that was relatable. So you can plug in something that you want to do and follow along and try it on your own. Go ahead and get yourself into a relaxed position, slowing down your breathing and letting your feet be flat on the ground. Letting everything just slow down and get more calm in your system. Inviting every part of your body to relax a little bit more. We're going to go into this process for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And the more you give yourself the permission to relax, the more you'll receive. Dropping into your body. Invite any other parts of your body to fully relax, to slow down. And notice if there's any voices still present in your mind. And go ahead and tell them from the leadership part of your being that all is well. In your own voice, in my tone, all is well. All is well. Let that land in your body, that right now you're safe, you're at home, you're relaxed. Let that just move through your body and feel at ease, calm, and at ease, relaxed. And start to invite your head and your body to relax a little bit more as we go into a bit of a body scan. Starting with your forehead, allowing it to relax a little bit more. The space between your eyebrows and around your eyes. Invite them to relax even deeper. Feel the muscles around your cheeks and bones and feel them pull on your cheekbones as they get heavy and relaxed, drifting yourself even deeper. And then feel the muscles around your mouth, neck, and head getting even more relaxed. Feel your whole head just drift a little bit deeper. The muscles in your neck, feel them relax even more. Invite your chest, your shoulders, and back to relax even deeper. Feel the muscles in your arms, upper and lower, and invite them to relax even more. That's perfect. Keep following my voice, inviting every part of your system to just surrender and relax. Feel the muscles in each of your fingers and hands and allow them to relax. Feel the muscles in your core, your chest, stomach, and all around each of your organs. Invite it all to soften, giving yourself that permission that there's nothing to hold together right now. All that has to happen is you let yourself relax. It doesn't matter if you go quickly into trance or if you slowly go into trance. The inevitable is that you're going and that it's perfect. Move that energy into your hips and legs and invite them to relax even more. Feel that energy move down your lower legs, your feet and your toes, and allow them to relax. And feel all that energy in your body get even more relaxed. And as you're here, start to picture what would an even more relaxed version of you look like. How would they walk around, or maybe they would sit or lay down. Just picture it fully in your mind, this more relaxed version of you. How does his face feel? Is there any tension or does it feel easy? Picture, how does he breathe? Is it deep and heavy or is it shallow? What would it feel like in his body if he was even more relaxed? Picture this version fully. How would he move around? Would it be fast or slow? And merge with this part of you. Float into his experience, feeling that relaxed feeling as you look around your life. Picture everything happening with a sense of ease, calm, unshakable calm inside, just this natural peace. Feel that soft feeling in your body, calm and easy. As you look around your life, picture interacting with your friends, family, partner, whoever, kids, from this more relaxed place. And just notice what's different. And then start to picture from this space an even more relaxed version, maybe the most relaxed version of you that's totally calm inside, that feels so relaxed and at ease, regardless of what comes up, just feels this inner calm and feels a sense of freedom with that calm. That you could do anything, you could be anywhere, you could be around anyone, you just feel this calm inside, like a locked feeling. Feel that feeling turned all the way on in your body, calm. And look around your life. How do you breathe? How do you move in your life? And how do you feel? And see all of that so clearly. Picture that calm getting more and more activated and stronger, almost like a light moving from the bottom of your feet up through your head, anchored and locked. Picture this color just locking in your system as you feel this calm. Feel it all the way as you look around your life. Just feel this ease, this peace. And notice from this space that it doesn't really matter what anyone else is doing. Start to picture maybe a minor inconvenience in this space, something that bothered you a little before. And just feel that calm feeling inside, that it's unbreakable. It's just alive and all the way on. It's anchored and locked. Feel that color in your system that cannot be touched by anything else. And start to picture any other minor inconveniences coming up, something small, and feel that calm feeling that can't be affected by anything. It just feels at ease. Feeling this massive sense of relief in your body. And start to picture maybe something that would have had a little bit more power of you before, but it doesn't anymore. Just start to picture someone unfollowing or someone not liking something you're doing, and just feel that feeling of calm as you witness it. And notice how that feeling, that follow, notice how it's losing power. Those emotions that came up are turning black and white, and they're losing volume. Feel them drifting away from you as you feel this calm feeling inside. Almost hard to find those emotions. Looking around like, where did they go? Just feeling that calm feeling inside. Feel that calm even bigger, more alive. Like that color is anchored, a cord fully anchored in your being. Knowing that you're always safe, always okay. And start to picture other inconveniences popping up, other things that would have triggered before, and feel that calm feeling. Notice it like it's little birds or bees flying around, losing volume, losing power, losing its ability to even reach you. Notice all of those old triggers just float away and no longer have any power over you. And feel that freedom inside. That if none of that has power over me, what else can I do? Just feel that feeling of freedom grow in your body. And as you feel that feeling come on more and more, and you notice all those little things float away, all of the things that had power before, just feel this sense of bring it on world. This curious nature comes on, like, what else can I handle? What else can I do? If it can't hurt me, If life can't hurt me that way, if it doesn't have power, what else can I do? What is this freedom? Feel that feeling of calm and freedom move through your body, anchored, unbreakable, like metal in your body, just activated, all the way activated. And as you feel this feeling and you start to feel even lighter in your body, like, what else can I do? What else? What else? What else? If these triggers don't have power over me, what else? And feel this flirtatious energy with the world and the universe, like, bring it on and feel it come all the way on in your body, feeling so calm and at ease, free and excited for what else. And as you feel this good, peaceful feeling, I want you to imagine letting go of that vision, knowing it's anchored in your system, knowing all of that exists now, always, and will only get stronger. And I want you to notice right below you these stairs, 5 stairs going down. And with each step going down, that you notice yourself feel even more relaxed. Step 1, dropping all of the things that were on your mind before. Step 2, calm. Step 3, fully relaxed. Step 4, surrendering anything else, floating with my voice. Step 5, almost asleep, just so relaxed. And then I want you to notice a door in front of you that looks kind of interesting. And as you walk up to the door, you notice the playful doorknob. You open it up, and it looks like an arcade room. It's the control center of your subconscious mind. You notice buttons and levers and all kinds of exciting things. There's endorphin buttons you could push and you could just feel good. There's happiness ones. There's relaxation levers where you can go even deeper. There's ambition. There's confidence. There's all of these different levers and buttons. And it just looks so cool in there. And as you look around, you're in awe of the entire system that's already operating inside your being. Like, wow, amazing. I'm doing so good. It's all going so good. And then as you look around, you notice this little corner look a little dusty. So you walk over to it and take a look, and you see this button that says seen. Confidence to be seen. And you start to picture, as you clean off the dust from this button, what this would even look like if you had all the confidence in the world to be seen, to show yourself, to post, to advertise. What would it even look like? Start to picture it fully as you dust off that button. And as you push the button, it comes on more clearly. What would it look like? You see yourself posting with ease, sharing with ease, helping people. And you start to picture the strangers that you haven't even met yet that are going to benefit from all this content. You start to picture their faces. As you push this button more and more, you start to feel a surge of energy come through your body, all the way from the bottom of your feet, up through the top of your head, out through your arms, all the way activated. Feel that feeling come all the way on as you start to picture being fully seen. Feel it as this exciting feeling, like this alive feeling, this tingling in your chest, bubbling up through your chest, out through your body, fully alive. Feel it bubble up even more as you picture more benefits of when you're fully seen. Feel it come all the way on. Feel those benefits. Feel the confidence that you bring everywhere in your relationship, in your life. Feel what that confidence would feel like in your body and strengthen it as you keep pushing the button. Feeling that seen feeling come all the way on. Put yourself in that place. Keep pushing that button. Feel it come all the way on, activated from the bottom of your feet, out through your head, out through your body. Breathe into that feeling. Feel your chest expand as you feel that feeling. Keep pushing that button, that willingness to be seen. Push that button with determination, like it's mine. I'm coming for this future. Feel the benefits of when you're fully there in your body right now. You're fully seen. You walk to Mana. People's lives are changed and they recognize you and say, thank you. Thank you for putting yourself all the way out there. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for helping me break this pattern. Thank you for being willing. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping me save my relationship. Thank you for all of the benefits. Feel those feelings come all the way on in your body as you witness these faces, these lives that have changed just by your willingness to show up. Feel what that feels like in your body, that accomplished feeling, that good feeling like I did it, that relief, that positive, beautiful confidence. Feel that feeling come all the way on, tingling through your chest, activated through your body, all the way up through your head, in through your breath, feeling that chest expand and keep pushing that button, willing to be seen, willing to be seen, willing to be seen for the results that are coming. Feel all of those feelings get even bigger. Picture all of the benefits, get brighter, bolder, more alive. Feel all of the benefits. Look at your partner in that reality. You've fully done it. You've shown every part of yourself and it resonates. And all of the things land. Picture that accomplished, that confident feeling as you look at your partner's face, as you see how proud she is of you, and more importantly, how proud you are of yourself as you look at her. Feel that feeling as if it's happening right now. Feel the benefits with kids. Feel it show up. Feel it from your friends that look up to you that then get to receive your help. Feel those feelings come all the way on, activated even brighter now, even more alive. Feel that tingling surge up through your feet, out through your arms, up through your head, and just feel so alive, picturing every benefit of where you're going. Make it come fully alive. Make the colors brighter. Make it all bolder. Make the feeling stronger in your body, feeling as if every cell in your system is just partying alive, excited about where you're going. Feel that tingling feeling, so activated, so alive, almost like your whole body's buzzing for the future that is yours. And feel it as it's done. It's done. It's done. It's coming. It's done. It's happening. It's locked in. It's no longer a hope. It's no longer a wish. It's no longer a dream. It's the difference of, I think the sun will rise, or I know the sun will rise. Feel that knowing as you experience all of these things, as you look around at your life, pushing that button over and over and over again. Feel that feeling as it's coming. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Feel that feeling in your body that's there right now and make it even stronger. Feel it locked in your body. I'm going to be seen no matter what. And push that button over and over and over again. Keep pushing the button and keep picturing the benefits that are coming. And as you push this button, start to invite in and notice these little mosquitoes that made noise that said, What if no one cares? Just push the button over and over and over again. Keep pushing the button as you notice those little mosquitoes come in and say little nonsense. Just feel that energy in your body activate even more, even stronger, even more powerful. Feel that feeling in your body activate even more. As you picture people unfollow that don't resonate, you're just like, good, get rid of them. Picture more people following, more people finding you, and more of the people who are following you resonating, commenting, loving. And even if they're not doing that, just feel how it's landing in households you don't even know about. Keep pushing that button, willing to be seen constantly. Every opportunity you can, you start to notice just as you're in EO, I'm going to film this thing. As you're here, as you're picking up your phone and you used to doom scroll and now you see massive opportunity. I have my phone. I have time. I can be seen. Keep pushing that button and feel the benefits in your system all the way alive as you picture everything that used to exist that had power before. Picture that version of you that used to smoke weed and send it love, but it no longer exists. Feel that feeling get even stronger as you picture that person that used to scroll and doesn't even exist anymore. It's just all the way on. Every moment is an opportunity for you to be seen, for you to take up the space that is yours. Feel that space in your body, all the way activated, all the way yours. Breathe it in, anchor it into your system by expanding your chest, feeling that breath in your body. Expand your chest, breathing deeply, breathing widely, feeling all that energy, maybe expanding your belly. Just feel that energy in your body as it's yours, it's yours, it's yours. And notice those little things that used to have power just float away. And laughing almost at the fact that they ever had power, feeling so much love for those versions, but they no longer exist. Feel that on feeling constantly as you keep pushing that button. And you feel that feeling get even stronger, more alive, more activated, more like this. Just, I could walk through a wall. I feel so alive. I feel so good about who I am. I feel this activated, powerful, strong feeling inside myself. And it's just only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it won't stop until my capacity says so. Just feel that feeling get bigger and bigger and bigger. I deserve this. I'm coming for this. I'm ready for this. It's mine. Feel it. It's done. It's done. It's done. And let go of that button, feeling that feeling in your chest just swirl. Feeling it so good, so ready, so excited to be seen, so excited to move into the version of you that you know is already here. It's already anchored in this session, and it will only grow and get bigger from here. This part of you will gain power every day. The version of you that you'll be a year from now will have so much of this power. And let go of that button, feeling that swirling positive feeling in yourself. And let go of the control center, knowing all of this is anchored. Walking out, closing the door, walking up the steps, and as you come up the steps, you'll feel yourself come into your body more. Step 1, maybe feeling your body. Step 2, breathing into your chest, anchoring this feeling, it's mine. Step 3, maybe moving your fingers and toes. Step 4, coming awake into your body. And feel all of what just happened with so much respect for that process. Getting excited about where you're going, almost excited to finish this podcast, excited to just do the next thing that takes you exactly where you're going. Feel all of these feelings land in your body. And when you come awake, open your eyes, feel excited about where you're going, eager and ready to be seen by anyone fearlessly. Welcome back.
I was in a whole new plane. I was like so far gone. Oh, it was, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was so incredibly relaxed. And I could feel these parts come in and we're like, well, we should try and sabotage this. We should see if it isn't going to work. But my body was so calm. It was like they had nothing to hold on to.
Yeah.
It was like they were like, no. And it was like, it's just like reverberation. It was like, okay. And then it was like, it was interesting that it really became interesting when it was like, okay, smash the button. I was just like whack-a-moling this button, just like fucking beat this button. And this like experience of, it was easier to feel the calm and relax than it was to feel the excited. But it was like, okay, then just feel calm and relaxed. Like that could be enough. And then as I like felt that, then it was like, okay, now we can feel excited. And like to start like seeing what it would look like and being in EOW and running into people in PIA and like being in this room and making videos, like, yeah, just like really removed the charge of the narrative of like any desire to try and like persuade myself out of something. I was so incredibly relaxed and calm.
What do you feel? Yeah. Okay.
Part of it's like, I won't even go look.
Yeah.
And then the other half is like, okay, dude's missing out. Like this life's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
all
Well,
right.
we know we're heading for gold. It's like, oh, okay, you don't want to be on the ship. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
cool.
okay.
That's fine.
And I always like, kind of joked with that. Like the people who unfollowed me, not all of them. There's others that just like, we have history and whatnot. But like some of them, it was like, yeah, I don't shit talk my partner and I don't like smoke a ton of weed. And so it's like, yeah,
just like
they're
a
going to fall
resonance.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, they're going to fall off, fam. Like that they don't fit, And yeah, and then the ones that like do, it's like, why would I even look? Just because they unfollow me doesn't mean I have to unfollow them. Like I can still
Yeah.
stay connected, And
Yeah.
and if I do want to unfollow them, then why was I even following them?
Yeah.
It's like it just kind of like it just removed the charge of it all. It was just very like, okay. Like, and it wasn't like a blasé like apathy.
Yeah.
It was like a got it. Move on, and like keep walking the path.
Yeah.
And the feeling of excitement of like it really started to hit right at the end. Like it took a while for that feeling to really land because I could feel some discomfort in my body. But it was like, okay, do the next thing and the next thing. And like I'm about to start psychedelic assisted therapy. And it feels like it's really like going to close the door on a lot of this childhood stuff and like really just the physical discomfort in my body. Yeah, so this stuff is all temporal, like this feeling that I'm having right now, like I'm on this path, like no question.
Yeah.
And a big thing has been like I don't have to talk about all of my trauma to prove myself. Being like, oh, look how fucked up my life was and see how far I've came. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to pornography my pain,
Yeah.
to like, yeah, see, it's like, sure, if someone wants to know, I'll relate to them.
Yeah.
But I have enough strategies and tools and all that stuff and perspective and practice to be like, it is what it is without the story. Yeah.
I think excitement is also an interesting, as I've been working with men, I think it's, I find that women have it so easy to float into the excitement. So far in my practice, I've found that they can just go, and I've noticed with some of my male clients, it's actually been a theme. There's maybe not permission or something, or there's something sensation wise that feels like it's blocking it a little, or it can be whatever it is for them. But it's been interesting to notice, even for my partner, the first time I led him through something that was excitement, he's like, I just feel anxious, and I was like, yeah, that's okay. And then with doing it over and over, it changes,
Well, and it wasn't until I heard you at one point say like, no, breathe deeper. And
bringing it into the body is like, oh, okay, like.
Right. Well, the quote is anxiety is just excitement without the breath.
Yeah, exactly. So it's actually, that's a beautiful thing that you just said, because I felt anxiety. It is the same.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And as I started to breathe more, it was like,
I
oh yeah, like I
love
can,
that.
like I can inspiration myself into this by using my breath, and as I started to breathe, because I was like, I'm so relaxed. Why would I breathe deep? And it was like, because I want to get excited.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh yeah, like fuck, like after that, like I'm gonna go do something, and just here we go, you know. And it like really started to become the visual perception of it, of like, oh, like I'm gonna go to Pia and I'm gonna have this other conversation, or I'm gonna go to Iao and swim with Luce, and like all this stuff, like, and it was really neat to, more than anything, notice the dissipation of the charge when I was so deeply relaxed in the narrative. Like I didn't know what to. There was a level of anxiety at the beginning of like, what do we do? Like we're all these like thoughts are coming in, and it's like, no, bud, like
No.
no, like, and to just be like, usually I would be so latched to it. I would be so like squirrel, you know, like just the bug zapper type thing, just like but just to be like, the only thing I can focus on right now is not going like this.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was like, oh, it's kind of uncomfortable. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, now we're over here. You know, it's like, yeah, it was really neat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that's what makes it so cool is, you know, when we hang out with a friend, we can stay in the mind the whole time, you know, talking about their problems or something, but it bypasses.
Right.
And I think that bypassing is just so interesting that, you know, to go into this world where these things that have power over us don't at the moment. It's,
Right.
yeah.
To witness that possibility that it can exist.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the exercise, like now my cellular structure knows that it's possible.
Yeah, exactly.
like-
and that's literally all I do when I do hypnotherapy for sleep. It's literally just connecting that pathway. That's like putting yourself in the situation where you're going to sleep and like you just go there in your mind, like you're going to sleep and it's relaxing and you give yourself that permission. It's so peaceful and the bed is so relaxing. You just flow into it and you go to bed with so much ease. Just feel what that feels like. And it's just connecting a pathway, because whatever blocked them from sleeping is actually something that was helping them. Like it's this, what if I don't wake up on time? Or, oh shoot, did I forget something today? Or, oh, I'm worried I won't be able to sleep. You know, it's just like, it's nonsense. And then we go to that place where we just connect that pathway and then it's so fascinating.
Right.
But yeah, thank you for
Oh, it was wonderful. Thank you.
receiving that.
I'm so relaxed. I don't want to forget this because I want to give other people the opportunity to experience this. So where can people find more about you and follow you on social, all that type of stuff?
I think the best thing is Traveler of Love on Instagram. I have also activatewithamira@gmail.com or activatewithamira.com is my website to like read more info. But honestly, I think just social media is the best. Just send me a DM and then, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amira. This was wonderful.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As you heard, you can find Amira on Instagram at Traveler of Love and stay connected. And thank you for your attention today. Aloha. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the interview today. And if you haven't already done so, please like or follow us on whatever platform you're listening to, and let us know if you have any questions or comments or requests of future interviewees.
And we hope you find this inspiration, the clarity, and the direction to fully lean into being human, whatever that means for you. Aloha.